Are we being lied to? According to the US government, unemployment's at 4.2%, and we can all see with our own eyes that the stock market is closing at or near all-time highs. So if the economy is doing so well, why is it that a record number of Americans cannot even afford their basic car maintenance? Let's jump in, let's talk about the story, and then I'll share my thoughts at the end as far as what I think is going on. So Fox Business has an article, millions of car owners are delaying maintenance repairs as costs rise. And then there's a subtitle, the Federal Reserve is reporting that auto loan delinquencies, those rates rose substantially. And they interviewed a car dealer owner, and he says, I think all of this is due to a 4-year inflation period along with high interest rates, which have caused a spike in food prices, insurance costs, housing costs, all of which have hit the consumer's pocketbook and evaporated any free cash that the consumer may have had. All of that is certainly true. Let's keep going on. The article goes on to say many people are driving cars they purchased during the pandemic when inventory was scarce and car prices were inflated by 20%, pushing their monthly payments to unsustainable levels. In September, the Federal Reserve reported that auto loan delinquencies rose substantially and surpassed pre-pandemic levels by the end of 2023. And the Federal Reserve is suggesting that one potential reason behind this increase, particularly for originated loans, is higher monthly payments. So what are people paying for car loans? Okay, this is the increase from January 2017 to January of 2020, a 3-year period. You can see that car payment, the average car payment rose from $430 a month to $470 a month. But in that over a same 3-year period during the pandemic, from January 2020 to January 2023, the average monthly payments jumped to around $600. That's an increase of about 40%. That's a big, big increase in a $600 car payment. That's a big car payment. In fact, I think it's over 10% of car payments now are over $1,000 a month. I mean, cars are getting expensive. Interest rates have been higher. And we're seeing this with that average car payment of over $600, and that includes used cars as well as new cars. The average age of a car on the road has risen to 12 and a half years, up from 9.5 to 10 years before the pandemic. So this is the average. And unlike a lot of averages, I do not think this average is skewed that much by outliers, right? Because cars don't last much more than 12 and a half years. They do, and I've been known to drive them, but I don't think we have the same skew, so I think average is a pretty good number. However, it's important to factor in there are a number of people that are taking it upon themselves. Instead of paying for car repairs, they're performing those car repairs themselves. And I have a picture here of the Chilton car repair manual. I used to do my own car repairs. I don't do that anymore. I used to do my own oil changes and things like that. So I thought it would be fun to share this photo with you. So what do I think's going on? You know, is the government lying to us? Kind of. Is unemployment really 4.2%? You know, in there is hidden a lot of data. There's called the participation rate, which is also at historic lows. So what percent of the population is actively looking for a job if they don't have a job? What percent of the population is participating in the workforce, whether currently employed or not? And that number is low. And if we put that number into the unemployment number, we'd see things don't look as rosy. So I think there's some of that going on. People, it's about half of people, when they start getting within 5 years of retirement, it's about half of people have to retire before they wanted to retire because something happened at work. And because those people are classified as retired, those folks don't show up in the unemployment numbers. So yes, I do think the economy's numbers are painted in a pretty rosy way. And I think whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, I think both sides of the aisle do this. So I heard an interview with Janet Yellen the other day, who's the Treasury Secretary currently. She also is heads up the Board of Trustees for the Social Security Administration Trust Fund. And she was surprisingly optimistic on some negative data, whatever the interview was. So I think both administrations, Biden and Trump, both have or are going to have an incentive to frame things as positively as possible. So that's part of what's going on. They have that saying, there's good statisticians and then there's bad statisticians and then there's the darn liars. And I think, you can make statistics say whatever you want statistics to say. And I think there's some of that going on. But I also think that quote at the beginning of the article where the consumer is stretched, if you look at the 3 to 4 years of high inflation that we had right after the pandemic, the supply chain, it was supposed to be transitory. The reality is our cost of living is 25% higher now than what it was before the pandemic. That's a huge, huge increase. And the inflation numbers, there's a lot of things that are not included in the inflation numbers that get reported on the nightly news. I believe rent is not included in there. So there's a basket of consumer goods that are included in there. And there's a lot of things that are excluded from that list. So I think part of it is the numbers are rosy. I think part of it is there's more people unemployed. And I think part of it is also, I personally think there's been what I call a rolling recession going on. So have we officially triggered, we're in a recession? No, we haven't by the definition of it. But when you look at 2022, with all the tech layoffs continuing to this day, I think there's pockets of the U.S. economy that are hurting, and we're rolling through the recession, which, we've all heard this term about the soft landing that the Federal Reserve is trying to do with the economy. It looks like, according to the data, they might just well have done that, according to the data. But according to everyday Americans' lives, have they done that? You can argue whether they did or not. But part of that soft landing is if they can have a rolling recession where certain pockets of the economy are hurting and other pockets are doing okay. If we're going to have a recession, that tends to make it easier for everybody involved, because when all the industrial sectors are laying off, it can be really, really hard to find a new job. So if there's some sectors that are thriving and others that are hurting, it makes it easier for people that get laid off to find a job. So maybe part of this soft landing is a rolling recession, which is what we're seeing. Clearly, car prices were high. Clearly, our car payments are high. The nice thing is most of us don't have to sign up for a new car payment. Most of us could get by with a 3 or a 5 year or even a 10-year-old car that's been well maintained, that looks good, and we can avoid putting ourselves in this situation that's talked about in the article here. And one of the things, we're trying to save money, we're trying to get ahead, and really the reason for that is to prepare for retirement. And it's also, until we get to retirement, I think it's good that we enjoy the journey, which is why I made this video here. 8 things to stop doing in your 50s and 60s in order to enjoy your journey until retirement. I'll see you in that video. Bye-bye.